first footprints in the sand. They say that no matter how hard you work, there's always someone, somewhere, working harder than you.
An early morning start. A bucket of balls to hit. Practicing.
There's always someone out there who was better than me growing up. And even now, to this day, there are people who are better than me in different facets of the game. And I watch and I analyze and I'll try and learn to try and make my game even better.
6:30, ready to put in that work. Just waiting on the sun to come up. You always have to outwork your opponent. Because right now, there's somebody out there right now that you have no idea about in the state of Florida, Texas, New York, that's out there working.
Well, my philosophy since I was a little boy is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work as hard. Because I do all things for the glory of God. I do everything as hard as I can because I do want to set a good example, because I do want to be a good leader, because I do want to be in shape, because I do want to be the hardest worker, but more than anything, because when I do something, I want to be the best that I possibly can at it.
Part of it is a year-round commitment. There's been guys that I've raced with over the last 10, 15 years that really relaxed a lot in the off season, and those stories were well told, and they'd come into the season clearly overweight and out of shape. And
I wanted to be a starter, and I did whatever I could to start. I worked out every day. I started lifting weights, getting in the weight room, getting a lot stronger, and stayed in the gym after practice, just to get better.
They introduced me to the hill as a rookie, and the first time I tried to run this hill, it kicked my butt. And I said, I have to go back and conquer that. Because you never want to get into a mode of quitting. The hill is about 2.5 miles up.
How often do you do this?
Every day. I think a lot of times guys get to the NBA and they become content. I'm good, I'm here. I'm getting paid, and I have nothing else to prove. But that's not the case for me. I love to play this game, and I still have a lot to prove. When you roll out of bed, you're like, man, I don't want to do this. But once you wake up and you get at it, you realize you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. So every day I just think about it, there's another guy, trying to work just as hard as me, trying to get to where I want to be. So I just try to work as hard as I possibly can.
What you needed to be in the Viscery gym was talent to be there, ambition to be somebody, ambition to pay the price, to work hard as hell to be there, and the desire to learn from champions, because when you went there, you were with champions.
Those who remembered his raw potential now saw the results of a lifetime of hard work.
He would go to JV practice, and then he'd go to varsity practice. We played ball games, and after games were over, he'd run what we call suicides or line drills. He'd run those by himself.
The weakest part of Michael's game on the offensive end was his shooting. So he obviously mastered something that everybody said he couldn't do when he came out of college. And he did it by shooting, consistently. The other thing that people told him that he wasn't really a good defensive player. And he found a way not only to become a great defensive player, but the best defensive player in the NBA.
And just when you think you've made your mark, it's washed away. But I'll be back tomorrow.